What's going on, YouTube family? This your man Pristine, back with another video. Welcome to the full Pristine review for the Samsung Galaxy S21. Let's dive right in. Now, first off, I want to give a shout out to my man Dre C, man. What's up, baby boy? You know, my guy, man. I don't necessarily want to say that he's a Samsung fanboy, but you know, for a minute there, I started not to like Samsung, and I guess you could say that I was hating on them, if you will, because of their successes, right? It just seems like every year Samsung, you know, they put out, you know, a multitude of devices of all different ranges, whether it be budget, mid-range, and flagship, and these just so happen to be just remarkable devices on all fronts. And, you know, typically, you know, I'm for the little guys, right? I'm for the up and coming manufacturers that are making devices to compete with the likes of Samsung and Apple. And, you know, those are the devices that I really get excited about, because we've already know what to expect from Samsung and Apple, which is greatness. And although we may not always agree with certain moves that they make, you know, you can't deny the fact that, you know, their devices are great. And you know, for a while there, you know, I just kind of denounced, you know, Samsung and their greatness. And my boy Dre was just like, yo, man, you know, Pristine, man, you can't deny what they've been doing, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're very consistent. Every single year they put out top quality devices, and you can't really deny that, man. And so, you know, shout out to my man Dre, you know what I'm saying? I mean, for helping me see the light again. You know, not to say that I, you know, disagreed with him on that, but it's like I just, you know, it's like Samsung, they kill it every year. You know what I'm saying? They just kill it every year, you know, and I want to see somebody else rise up the ranks and just dethrone Samsung. You know what I'm saying? So, man, shout out to my man Dre C, man, for, you know, just putting it, you know, for checking me, basically. Like, yo, you know, Samsung, they the ish, man, and you know it. You just got to stop denying it. You know, and matter of fact, shout out to my whole team, man. Shout out to Dre C, you know, shout out to my boy Easy E, you know what I'm saying, out in Cali. Shout out to my man Ken Lowe, you know what I'm saying, AKA, you know what I'm saying. He just got so many different names, man. We just call him AKA, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to my man Ern Siegel, you know what I'm saying, Big Ern Siegel. I see you out there, baby boy, man. Shout out to my whole team, you know what I'm saying. They all doing big things out here, man. And yeah, man, let's get into this. Let's get to it. Now, first off, you know, the S21, you know, the price, you know, we're starting off at $799 for the 128 gigabyte variant of the S21. And of course, we got the S21, the S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. I felt more intrigued to get my hands on the S21 here because of the fact that whenever you see Samsung advertisements for the new S21 device, it is always the Ultra that you see. When you see Samsung commercials, whether it be online or on television, it's the Ultra that Samsung is propping up, right? And I understand, you know, the Ultra is the baby. It's the one that's got everything. And so naturally, Samsung is going to want you to gravitate more towards that and spend that $1,200, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that asking price for the Ultra, which, you know, a lot of people can't really fathom, you know, paying that amount of money for it. Don't matter seemingly what the device does or the feature set or how good the cameras are, right? And so it's like you just kind of forget the fact that there are two other variants, and it's like if there is another variant that they're advertising or at least mentioning or talking about, it's the Plus, because the Plus is the closest thing to the Ultra. So it's like, you know, the S21 here just seems to be the stepchild out of the S21 bunch. You know what I mean? It doesn't really get too much love at all as far as, you know, being brought up in the sake of conversation, you know, when you're talking about the S21 line. And so what that did for me was that compelled me to want to get my hands on the S21 here and, you know, just really, you know, do my own research as to whether or not, you know, this device was just as good as the Ultra. And yes, even though the Ultra may be offering more, I feel as though the S21 here is definitely a capable device. You are definitely getting nothing short of the S21 experience if you decide to go with the S21 here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to get the Ultra. Okay, you don't need to spend $1,000 for this new line of S21s if you don't really want to. You can get an S21 device for $799. That's still, that's high. That's flagship pricing, but it's less than $1,000. And so it's like everything that you're going to get more with the Ultra. It's not as though there's a significant drop off if you decide to go with the S21 here. Okay, so prices for the 128 gigabyte variant is $799 here. And just a real quick spec rundown, just in case you forgot or just in case you're curious to know, okay, well, what exactly is the S21 offering? We've got a 6.2 inch dynamic AMOLED display. This is a 120 hertz display, might I add. It's an HDR10 plus 1080p by 2400 pixels display. We've got a 20:9 aspect ratio. We've got a 421 ppi pixel density. We got Corning Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, and on the front only. We've got a plastic back, which doesn't really bother me. We've got an aluminum frame, and we've got 1300 nits max brightness. What's that mean? That means that you've got a super crystal clear 1080p dynamic AMOLED display. 1300 nits means that no matter what the lighting conditions are, whether you're outside and you're in a bright sunlight and it's reflecting off of your screen, or you're just in a very well lit environment and you got all kind of lights reflecting off of your screen, guess what? 1300 nits of brightness, you are not going to have a problem at all viewing your content on your device. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. If you got a problem, you might want to make an appointment with your eye doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because 1300 nits is hella bright. Hella bright. Way brighter than any display needs to be. Okay, now the internal specifications, the guts, the gizuts. We got a Snapdragon 888 SoC chip, which is, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, the Snapdragon flagship processor of 2021. So we've got the Snapdragon 888 SoC. We got an octa-core CPU. We've got an Adreno 640 GPU. We've got 8 gigabytes of RAM. We've got 128 gigabytes of storage. Again, there is no memory expansion, and we are running One UI 3.1 over Android 11. All right, so we've got the latest and greatest top-end 2021 specifications for this device. So what's that going to mean for performance? Beast mode. Okay, now the build quality. Again, Corning Gorilla Glass Victus along the front. Victus is Corning's most durable grade of glass according to Corning. Okay, and it's glass. I mean, so it may have a little bit more durability, but ladies and gentlemen, you already know where I sit. It's glass. Okay, so I think depending on the nature of the drop, if it's just a drop from not a high height, then you may just get away with a scuff, or it may not crack the screen at all whatsoever. But I mean, Corning Gorilla Glass Victus don't mean that it's shatterproof. It don't mean that you can drop this phone from great distances and not have to worry, unless you got a case that's going to protect the screen and a really, really nice screen protector that'll take the brunt of that hit and shatter. And a lot of times these screen protectors, they're lifetime guaranteed. And so it's like, if you shatter them, you can just take them back to wherever you got it and, they'll replace it. Right. But don't be fooled into thinking that Corning Gorilla Glass Victus is going to stop you from having to file a claim if you drop this device. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be making that call. So if you want to prevent from making that call to file a claim because you cracked your screen, get a case and a screen protector. I recommend Amazon because you can get a really top quality screen protector and a case for your brand new shiny S21, and you won't break the bank. You know what I'm saying? So, just a little recommendation. That's what your boy Pristine does. I don't ever buy cases of screen protectors from these carriers because, they're commission based and they make money off of phone sales, but they make a huge amount of money on accessories, which is why every time you tell them that you want to buy a new phone, doesn't matter which carrier it is, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, they're going to come out with a case full of cases and screen protectors to recommend. It's all a part of the hustle. Just tell them, never mind, baby. I go to Amazon for those things. You know what I'm saying? Pay for your device and get on up out here. Simple as that. All right. Now, the plastic back. Now, I've heard some grumblings. I've heard some grumblings of, oh, well, it's the new latest and greatest Samsung. How's it gonna have a plastic back? How is Samsung just gonna shortchange their customers like that? Oh my God, the Samsung Knights. Oh God. Close your mouth, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yo, for one, look at this. Look at this. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Phantom Gray. Look at this back. It's like a dark matte gray. Beautiful finish. Yeah, it's plastic. Does that matter? No, not at all whatsoever. I actually prefer this over glass. Why? Because it gives you a little bit of gripability. If that's even a word. If it ain't, oh well, just made it up. Gripability. What's that mean? Your ability to grip your phone. You know what I mean? Glass has a tendency to be real slippery on the fingers. Okay, but when you're holding this device, because it's got that plastic back and the material, the plastic material, and the fact that it's just, whatever they put over it, just the coating that's over it, it gives it a little bit of grip. And as you can see too, it's not a fingerprint magnet. I can rock this without a case and not have to worry too much. I mean, yeah, there may be smudges on the front, because that's where everything is. But on the back, as far as gripping, holding this device, if you want to look at this device, like this, you don't have to worry about just looking and just seeing all kind of fingerprints and smudges, and then your phone just look nasty. You know what I'm saying? It just looks unsanitary. Nah, you ain't got to worry about that. You know what I mean? Those of you that felt like, oh, well, what about wireless charging? We have to have a glass back in order to give the phone the ability to wirelessly charge. No, you don't. No, you don't. This phone wirelessly charges just fine with the plastic back. I mean, so I don't know, where you guys are getting your information from, if that's what you thought, but I mean, you were misinformed. You know what I'm saying? You was misinformed, baby. We got wireless charging just fine, baby. No problems at all whatsoever with the plastic back here on the S21. Know what I'm talking about? So, the build quality to me is, the phone, it's nice and thin. It's pretty sleek. I like the feel that the plastic bag gives. It's easy to maintain and hold. Again, I've got small hands. You can see I can just easily navigate this device with one hand if need be. There was your quick example of that lightning fast facial recognition. Boom, just pops right into that. I love that. So, the build quality, I got to give the build quality a plus. And I like the aesthetics of this device. I really like the way that it looks. Like, I love the camera setup. I mean, just how that sits and just how it's kind of like engraved into the side panel. Like, I'm a huge fan of that. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to like that when I first saw the device. But then when you see it up close and you look at it, it's just like, wait a minute, man, that's a really nice looking design right there. So Samsung, the phone is very attractive, and I'm a fan of the build quality. Okay, a big fan. Now, performance, Snapdragon 888, 8 gigs of RAM. What do you think the performance is gonna be like? Huh? What you think? You guessed it, beast mode, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Marshawn Lynch status. Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Takashi back. What? This guy, he's a trip. Now, another thing, something new that you saw. Yes, when I swipe hard to the right, what do you see? Does that say Bixby or does that say Google? Yeah, Google. You know what I'm saying? We now have on Samsung devices the Google feed. The Google feed on the Samsung device. Now, on previous Samsung devices, whether it was the Note 20 or the S20, you would swipe hard to the right, you got Bixby. And they didn't give you the ability to change Bixby to whatever, kind of feed that you wanted. So now I like the fact that we've got the Google feed there. To me, I mean, I like Bixby, but I think, you know, I've rocked with Google and their feed for so long, and this just seems to give me more pertinent information as to what I want to get on a day in and day out basis. But don't get it confused. I do like Bixby, and Bixby is very helpful. And I like the fact that the more you use Bixby, the more Bixby accustoms itself to the different types of information that you're looking to get and how you use your device. And so I get it. I understand, Samsung, they want to be their own ecosystem, just like Apple. They got their own thing going on. They got Siri, like Google's got the Google Assistant. Bixby is Samsung's, assistant. And it's very useful. So I'm not going to sit here and try to make it seem like Bixby's not useful at all, because it is. What is this? Galaxy Note 21 FE renders present a vision of what could be coming for Samsung. Guys, see, Samsung, they just stay on top of it. But as you can see, I just got a whole boatload of information, information about devices, sports, money stuff, you know what I'm saying? I mean, different types of electronics. I mean, I get all kind of stuff here on my Google feed, and I use this on a day in and day out basis, and it keeps me very much so in tune and informed on a lot of different things. And so I like the fact that that has now been implemented on the Samsung devices, because that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the things that helps me stay on top of a lot of different things that are going on out here. So I like that. Okay, now we have a 120 hertz display, and I like the fact that, when navigating through the device, everything is nice and responsive. Now, here's the thing, right? On the older Samsung devices that gave you the ability to toggle the refresh rate, you could only have the highest refresh rate on while your screen resolution was at 1080p. If you had the screen resolution, marked higher. Okay. What Samsung did was they were like, well, we're not even going to bother making the screen resolution on this particular device any higher than 1080p, because in order to take full advantage of that 120 hertz, that's the setting that it has to be anyway. And so, on this device, you don't have the ability to, toggle the resolution in order to be able to toggle the refresh rate. It's either... My bad, y'all. Had to take that phone call. Sorry about that. But what I was saying was the refresh rate. So you don't have the ability to toggle it. The screen is 1080p. And on the older Samsung devices, in order to take advantage of the high refresh rate, you had to scale down the resolution to 1080p. So now on the S21, you no longer have the option to scale the resolution up, because the screen resolution is topped out at 1080p, which means that while it's topped out, while it's on the 1080p resolution, you can turn off the high refresh rate, but it's either, there's no 90 or 60. It's just a 120 or 60. Now, here's the thing. While you have the screen resolution turned on the 120 hertz, it drains the battery significantly faster than it normally does. Now, it's on 60 hertz right now. And, I don't know about you, but I mean, I can clearly see the difference between 60 and 120, but it's not really a big deal. Like the scrolling animations, they can, I guess the best way to describe it is they seem not as smooth and fluid and a little bit more choppy, I mean, everything still looks good and crystal clear, but I'm just saying the overall movement is not as smooth. But look at this. Look at how responsive this is. I mean, do you really need to have 120 hertz turned on? For me, it's not really a big deal. It's nice to have, but at the cost of battery life, I would much rather have my device at 60 hertz and still run, and still looking good with doing everything that I'm doing, and having major battery sustainability versus having it on the 120 hertz and my battery suffers. Okay, so it's just a matter of preference with that. Me personally, I was like, I'm going to turn off 120 hertz and I'm going to preserve my battery, and I'll just rock out with the 60 hertz because it's not that big of a deal. And I've noticed significantly better battery life when you turn off the 120 hertz refresh rate and just rock out with the 60. Now, again, that's a matter of preference. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I like to know that I don't have to be too concerned about battery. I noticed that when the 120 hertz refresh rate was turned on, battery life was draining significantly. And when you do turn it on, the phone does give you a warning that it will drain the battery life significantly more by having that feature turned on. And so it's just something to be mindful of. Okay. You know, in this video, as I'm recording right now, it's on 60 hertz, and you can see everything just looks fine. Okay. Everything is fine. If I scroll up, scrolling through my app drawer, everything is fine. Super responsive to the touch. Super responsive. You see when I go to my Google feed, as I'm swiping, everything is nice and smooth as it ought to be. When I go into applications, okay, when I pop into Spotify, all right, or when I pop into SoundCloud, okay, there's updates. I'll do that later. When I pop into YouTube Music, let that load up. Okay. Not now. You can see things load up super, super quick. If I go to Amazon, if I want to go spend a little bit of that money, you know what I'm saying? If I want to go to Best Buy, yeah, if I want to go to YouTube real quick, okay, that just loads up real quick. And, of course, as I'm scrolling, it's loading up the content. But you can see while it's doing that, the stuff that I do have access to that is loaded up, I mean, it's just fluid. Like a hot knife through butter. No problems at all whatsoever. Okay, again, 8 gigabytes of RAM. The RAM ever so nicely holds everything in check. Okay, no reloading of the pages. All right, go back into YouTube Music. As you can see, you get the point. Go back to Best Buy. Go back to Amazon. Everything just stays right there in the RAM. And everything that I tried to do to kill this phone, make it stutter, lag, whatever, guess what? It didn't work. It didn't work. This phone is a beast. It is literally a beast. And I would say that this device has way more going than what the average consumer needs. 8 gigs of RAM, I mean, really, who needs 8 gigs of RAM? Okay, that's a lot. And even with some of the most intense multitasking that we can do, 8 gigs of RAM is still a bit much for the average consumer. The Ultra has what, 12? If not more? I mean, like, who needs that? Even the most power users don't need that much. But, they don't call it the Ultra for nothing. So it's like they should call it the Samsung Galaxy S21 Overkill. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Ultra should be. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Overkill. We're going to overkill with features, functions. We're going to overkill with RAM. We're going to overkill with storage space. We're going to overkill with camera capabilities and features and options and this and that. Yo, it's, and again, it's just a matter of preference. This is no knock for the people that want that. And I understand this is why Samsung makes these different variations, because it's just a matter of what you want. If you don't want to spend, $1,200 and the $800 one is everything that you want and need and some, then why not just spend the $800 and be up like that? Like what I did. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel as though I'm missing anything by not having the Ultra and having this. Okay. This phone performs the way that I want it to perform. It has all the features and functions. And by the way, it has my top most favorite user interface, which is One UI. Okay. It's chock full of it's filled to the brim, baby, with features and functions. It's filled to the brim. All the way to the top with features and functions. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you guys a demonstration of how it performs. That's not an issue. It cosmetically, it looks good. It feels good. Cameras. Now, on the front, we've got, what do we got here? We've got a 10 megapixel selfie camera, f2.2, 26 millimeter wide angle lens. On the rear, you see that triple camera setup. We've got a 12 megapixel main sensor, a 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Okay. These cameras are monsters on this device. Don't be confused or fooled into thinking that if you want to get the top quality camera on one of these new S21 series, that you have to get the Ultra. It's not true. Okay? It's not true. Now, now these ultra wide sensors, the telephoto, it's an f2.0 29 millimeter telephoto lens, 0.8 micron pixels, featuring PDAF optical image stabilization, and we got optical zoom 3x hybrid zoom. I mean, so you can zoom in really close on subjects with this device. And my understanding is that I haven't tried it yet, but I will. And, you know, those will be featured in, I'll go take a few shots actually when I'm done with this. I mean, I've already gotten like footage and still shot images, but I've yet to use that zoom capability. But my understanding is that Samsung this time around with the S21 has done a phenomenal job with maintaining resolution while you're zoomed in really close on subjects. And so I'll have some demonstration shots for that in the camera review, which is at the tail end of this video. So if you just want to pause the video real quick or just kind of jump around, you know, there's going to be timestamps in the description. You know, if you want to get straight to the camera, just go into the description box right now, click on the camera timestamp, and just like that, it's going to take you right there. All right. But you know, we do have 8K recording at 24 frames per second, 4K recording at 30 or 60 FPS, 1080p recording at 30, 60, or 240 FPS, 720p recording at 960 FPS. And again, you know, HDR10 stereo sound recording, and we do have gyro electronic image stabilization along with optical image stabilization. And the optical image stabilization on this device has to be one of the smoothest optical image stabilization features that I've seen on a device. I mean, everything is super smooth, even when you are moving around in a very traumatic fashion. It's amazing to see how the OIS stabilizes these cameras while recording, even under intense movement. But I mean, even some of your most subtle movements, like just walking, I mean, you'll barely even notice that the phone is moving. I mean, it's going to look like it's on a gimbal when it's not. The optical image stabilization on this device is that damn good. It's mind-blowing, the progress that Samsung has made with these cameras. All right. So the cameras, in my personal opinion, are superior. You know, they're definitely, you know, king of the crop. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion. Okay, now, battery life. As I mentioned earlier, we have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on this device. What's that mean? All day battery life, for sure, guaranteed. And like I said, even when you've got the higher refresh rate turned on, I still can get through a full day, but I'm talking about finishing my day with the high refresh rate turned on. I'll close my day out at the end of the night with about between 15 to 20% battery life, right? I have to put my phone on the charger, okay, with the 120 hertz refresh rate turned on. With it turned off, I'm finishing my day with like 50%, if not more. And I'm talking about like a full day of talking, texting, YouTube watching, music streaming, multiple different streaming services, you know, taking photos, taking videos. You know, I got 3 kids, and so I'm always, you know, taking photos of the kids and stuff like that. Yeah, so you're talking about a significant difference of battery life when you turn off that 120 hertz refresh rate versus leaving it on. Now, like I said, I was still able to get through a full day while the higher refresh rate was turned on, but my battery takes a significant hit. But again, you know, we got 4,000 milliamp hour battery, you know, non-removable, of course. We've got the Type-C port down here on the bottom. We do have fast charging capabilities. We've got Type-C USB power delivery 3.0. We got fast charging at 25 watts. Now, here's the thing with that. We also have fast wireless charging, and then we have reverse power share at 4.5 wireless charging. That's like if you want to, charge your Samsung, earbuds. I got the Galaxy Buds Live. My wife, she caught me a pair of those as one of my Christmas gifts. Shout out to, Lady Pristine. So, 4.5 watts for that if you absolutely need to, charge your earbuds. But here's the thing. Samsung, they pulled an Apple. Okay, they pulled the Apple. And they didn't include the charger in the box. And so you do get the charging cable, and it's a Type C to Type C. But the problem with that is if you don't have a Type C wall adapter, that now too, just like with Apple, is a separate accessory that you're going to have to buy in order to charge your phone. And I don't think that that's right or fair to the customer, because we're paying a boatload of money for these devices. And I understand the rationale behind it. Like, they want to become more eco-friendly. I get that, right? I totally understand that. And I'm not opposed to that at all. But it shouldn't come at the cost of the consumer. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we're already paying top dollar for these devices, only to have to turn around and have to buy a separate accessory. Now, luckily for me, I have an Anchor wall adapter. And it's a super fast charging wall adapter, and it's got USB-A and USB-C ports on it. So, essentially for me, whatever phone I get, even whether it comes with the charging brick or not, I don't even need to use the charging brick, because I've already got a standard Anchor universal fast charging brick that's going to charge all my devices. And I got that from Amazon for, it was like, I think regular price $49.99, but I got it on sale for like $29.99 or something like that. It was a crazy deal, and I couldn't pass it up when I saw it. And it's paid a lot of dividends. It fast charges all of my devices. Doesn't matter what it is. All of my phones across the board, my iPad, everything. It charges everything. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have that. And so my man Flossie Carter said it best when he did his unboxing of the retail version of the S21 Ultra. He answered a question that somebody had asked him on how he really felt about the charging brick not being in the box. And, I don't want to quote him verbatim, because, he was using a lot of profanity, you know what I'm saying? But he was very adamant and serious about how he felt about it. And I feel him wholeheartedly. I couldn't agree more. You know what I mean? Because all this money that we're paying, we should be given a choice. And I'm super intrigued by the Xiaomi Mi 11. And stay tuned. I'm going to have that device here on the channel. I'm super excited about getting my hands on that device. The Xiaomi Mi 11, they give you an option. It's like when you're right at checkout, when you're paying for that phone, it will ask you if you want the charging brick or no. And there's no additional cost for saying yes if you want the charging brick. Okay, so it's like for me, the fact that I have, a standard, universal charging, charging brick that can charge all my devices, I necessarily don't need the charging brick. But again, that's not everybody's reality. And so, I get, what Samsung and Apple is doing, but the fact that they're just going to take that away and not give people the choice and just automatically assume that either you have something on standby to charge your device, or you got to go out and pay more money for a separate accessory, to me is nonsense, especially given the price that we're paying for these phones. It's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It's bending customers over with no Vaseline. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's doing. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't really a big fan of that. All right. Now, additional features. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I'll be talking all doggone night. And, some of y'all be talking about my videos are already long enough. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna preach to you too much longer. But One UI 3.1. I like the implementation of double tapping to now lock the screen. I mean, so Samsung, they've completely stolen the playbook from LG. All right, because LG originated that. And now you see that on a lot of devices. Now, before on previous Samsung devices, you can double tap to wake up the screen. but you couldn't double tap it to lock the screen. Well, now you can double tap to lock the screen and turn the screen off. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, the fingerprint sensor has been improved dramatically. I mean, the fingerprint sensor on some of the previous Samsung devices was super finicky. Sometimes it worked, other times not so much. This time around on the S21, not a problem. Well, you just saw the facial recognition right there. I'm trying to move my head out the way. Okay. You barely tap that fingerprint sensor and the phone is opening straight to your desktop just like that with no problems. Tap, boom, it's in there. That is a major, major, major improvement over the Note 20, the S20, the A71, the A51, all the most recent Samsung devices that had the under the display fingerprint sensor. This is a major, major, major improvement over those implementations of the under the display fingerprint sensor. Okay, now you saw the lightning fast facial recognition. Boom, just like that. I mean, soon as your face is in frame, it's opening up. Just like that. Now you can set that to where when it looks at your face, it unlocks, but you have to swipe up. Me personally, I would just rather take me straight to my desktop, so I have that feature turned on. All right. The dual stereo speakers. The dual stereo speakers on this phone are beast mode. And you know, again, even though this isn't really for me a determining factor, I got to speak about it because they are great. Of course, they are AKG tuned. Okay, so no surprise there. But they sound really good. And I think some of the best sounding stereo speakers on a device has to be the S21 here. Okay. The Motorola, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on what this joint is called. How really? Yeah, the Moto Edge, the Moto Edge Plus. And the Moto Edge, because the Moto Edge and the Moto Edge Plus, I mean, they have pretty much the same speaker system and they sound amazing. And of course, the iPhone 12s. I mean, you're talking about humongous sound out of these teeny tiny devices. I mean, it's crazy. But you know, the sound quality that come from these speakers. I mean, if you're the type to just listen to music from your phone only, big sound come from this device. Huge sound. You've got a speaker here up top in the ear receiver and another bottom firing speaker here on the right, to the right of the Type-C port. Man, tremendous sound. Tremendous sound. What else? Let me see. Let me see. Again, and now if you go into motion smoothness, this is where you're going to go to toggle the 120 hertz refresh rate. And they don't even call it that. It's just called adaptive. And it says get smoother animations and scrolling by automatically adjusting your screen refresh rate up to 120 hertz. Standard, get longer battery life with the 60 hertz screen refresh rate. So it tells you right there. Okay. Now, I do like the 120 hertz implementation because, again, I mean, it's like, you know, you can notice a bit of a difference in how fast things are responding to the touch. You know what I mean? And how smooth things look while it's doing whatever it is that you're commanding of your device to do. But again, to me, I'm just not willing to sacrifice battery life for that smoothness when even on 60 hertz, it still looks just fine in my personal opinion. All right. But I mean, you know, we have the ability to change that. I mean, the screen mode, I like the fact that, you know, you got it on vivid, natural. You can toggle yourself the RGB when it's on vivid. I like that. You know what I mean? If you don't like the way the screen is set up by default, then, you know, you can get in here. And as long as it's on vivid, if you put it on natural, it takes away your ability to toggle the RGB. But I mean, for me, when I put it on vivid, it kind of oversaturates a little bit, which isn't a problem for me because I like my colors to pop and to be, you know, a little more vibrant. And so when it's on vivid, then it gives you the ability to control not only just the white balance to get a warmer hue or a cooler hue, but it also gives you the ability to toggle the RGB. I'm a big fan of that, you know, because I'm very, very particular about how I want my screen displays to look. I'm very detail oriented and meticulous. Okay. I've got OCPD. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I didn't say OCD, OCPD. Look that up. Okay. I'm super particular with a lot of different things, especially, I tend to notice a lot of things that typically people just wouldn't notice. You know what I mean? But yeah, then of course, when you turn off the display, you got always on display. Now I have that set for 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Okay, it's 3:42 Pacific Standard Time here in Seattle, Washington. But I mean, as soon as 7 p.m. hits, my always on display is going to pop up. Okay, I'm a huge fan of that. Now, I like the fact too that when you scroll down, what do we got? I like the fact that we have Dolby Atmos. Okay, I'm a huge audiophile, and I also like to have total control over the way my music sounds. I got different vehicles. You know what I'm saying? I've got more than one car. So it's like I like to toggle the sound, to my liking in each one of my cars that I'm riding in. If I decide to hop in my wife's truck and I want to rock out to some music, this gives me the ability to not only just change the settings on the menu on the stereo in the car, but I have the ability to do more and toggle the equalizers and everything on the Dolby Atmos here, so I can really get more up close and personal with how I want my audio to sound. I'm a huge fan of that. Huge fan of that. Like, you can never give me too many audio options to toggle how I want my sound to sound, right? I mean, so that's big for me. That is major for me. Okay, then you also got Dolby Atmos for gaming. Here's the equalizer right here. You got presets: normal, pop, classic, jazz, rock, and custom. Okay, I'm big on that. This right here, I get excited when I see stuff like this on devices. You don't see this on every device, so I love the implementation of Dolby Atmos. And so that's where I'm gonna stop, because this phone is so feature packed. This video will be way longer than what it really needs to be if I wanted to just go down the list of all of the different features and functions that this device has. So final thoughts. This device is a great device, and there's really no other way to slice it. Okay. The S21 Ultra is offering a little bit more. You get the more exotic colors. You get a few more camera options. But there's no real deal, in my mind or in my opinion, a real significant drop from the Ultra to the S21 here. Like I said, this phone, the S21, has far more than what the average consumer could want or need, in my personal opinion. To me, in my experience with this device, it has been nothing short of stellar in every facet. Every facet. Call quality sounds amazing. It sounds like you're talking on a landline. People on the other end had absolutely no problems at all hearing me whatsoever. They sound crystal clear to me. I sound crystal clear to them. Okay. We have the voice text feature, which, because of the fact that we've got that very powerful front-facing speaker at the top, when I don't have a Bluetooth earpiece in and I want to listen to voice text, I can listen to my voice text with ease. And as I've said in several of my videos, that is very, very important to me. That is very important to me. Typically, I will have a Bluetooth device in my ear and I can listen to them that way. But a lot of times I don't. And I still like to have the ability to hear my voice text messages and not necessarily have to put the phone in my ear. But if I'm just trying to be discreet and just keep that voice text only to where I can hear it, then yes, even just putting the phone up to my ear and be able to listen to crystal clear, rich sounding voices in my ear without having to turn it all the way up. That's a testament to how good the stereo speakers are on this device. Okay. The camera quality, I don't even have to get into all the pro mode features and all that type of stuff. I'm just more of a point and shoot kind of guy. I'm no camera photographer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as far as like, like real professional and all this camera lingo and jargon. Nah, man, I ain't got all that. All I can do is point and shoot and tell you what looks good with the naked eye. I mean, yeah, being a reviewer, I've learned a few more little tricks of the trade when it comes to camera and videography and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't want to bore you with getting into all that stuff. I like to show you. I'm like, hey, look, I'm gonna show you these still shot images. I'm gonna show you this video quality, and I'll let you be the judge as to whether or not you think that this is a good camera system or not. To me, personally, this is a phenomenal camera system. Okay, so like I said, talking on the device, texting on the device, voice texting, features and functions, customization options, audio listening experiences, battery life. This phone is the full meal deal. All right, Dre, I said it, Dre. All right, shout out to my man Dre C, man. He's holding my feet to the fire on Samsung's greatness. All right. You cannot go wrong with the S21. You cannot go wrong with the S21 Ultra if you want a bigger display. Or the S21 Plus, or the S21 Ultra if you just want to go balls to the wall with everything that Samsung has to offer right now, which is the S21 Ultra. But like I said, that's going to cost you $1,200. The S21 Plus is going to cost you $999. This is going to cost you $799, $800 plus taxes. I was like $830, close to $840, everything out the door. Okay. And with my S21 here, I'm not longing for anything that the Ultra is offering because I got it all right here in the S21. That's all I got. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for allowing me to bend your ear on my experience and what I think overall of the S21 by Samsung. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons, and I mean tons, of videos that I've done like this one. Be sure to check out my whole catalog. If you're in the market for a brand new device, I've got so much content for you to go through to help you make an informed decision on what your next smartphone purchase may be. Be sure to keep it locked at Pristine Mobile Tech because guess what? I'm going to have so much more phones coming. 2021 is going to be a big year for mobile devices, and I'm going to get my hands on as many of these devices as I can to feature them on the channel to help learn you a little something to help you make an informed decision again on what your next smartphone purchase may be. Hit that notifications bell so that whenever my videos get uploaded, you'll get notified. And you can be one of the first to check out the content and get down in the comment section. Why? Because that's where I'm chilling at. And let me know what you think about what you saw. Hit me with any questions, comments, feedback. Let's please keep it respectful. Okay? I don't entertain disrespect. I don't let the disrespect ruffle my feathers, if you will. You understand? I don't do it. I block you and keep on pushing, baby. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah. Thank you for letting me bend your ear on the S21 here. And you guys already know, please stay safe. Crazy world we're living in, y'all. Get spiritually fit. We are definitely living in the last days. If death were to creep around some unsuspecting corner, where's your soul going to lie for eternity? Is it going to be with our Creator? Or is it going to be with the Judas? The evil one, the betrayer, the backstabber. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't even gonna say his name. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna say his name. Because there's so much evil and corruption going on here today, it's ridiculous. But the fact that we still stand where we stand today in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of all the violence that are going on in the street, in the midst of everything that's going on politically, economically, the fact that you're still standing where you stand is a living testimony of God's love, grace, and mercy. Give him praise, y'all. Give him praise. Catch y'all in the next video. You already know. Camera review rolling right now. Peace. All right, what's up, y'all? This your man Pristine. So these are the rear cameras for the Samsung Galaxy S21. Now, this is the standard version of the S21. It's not the Plus, it's not the Ultra. And I think for this particular device here, this is going to be more than suitable for your average consumer. All right, now, we've got a triple camera system here. We've got a 12 megapixel main sensor, a 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, we do have all the things. If you're wondering what those three dots are, I have the carpet marked so that I'll know exactly where to set my tripod when I'm recording, because this is the table that I normally set my camera up and record. And so I like to make sure that it's, that it's properly in place every time I get ready to record. All right. So, this is my little office space stash studio slash man cave, Yeah. So, like I mentioned, we have all the things here. We do have optical image stabilization. This has to be, in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, one of the craziest, most well-functioning optical image stabilizations that there is on pretty much any device. Like, it is super, super, super smooth. And you can see as I'm moving about that you're not going to have any shakiness, any lag at all whatsoever. All right, so let me just go ahead and mop on down the stairs, man. You know what I'm talking about. Try not to trip. But yeah, man. I mean, so and I mean the camera quality is absolutely amazing. Samsung, they're always one of the top players, when it comes to camera performance. I know you hear a lot of things about the iPhones. You hear a lot of things about the Pixels. OnePlus, they're getting ready to drop the OnePlus 9, and they're really, really, really boasting about this relationship that they now have with Hasselblad. And so, can't wait for that to drop so I can get my hands on that and get going with some reviews on that. Man, it's been absolutely beautiful here in Seattle, Washington, the last 4 or 5 days. And I was actually getting ready to go outside to get some of this footage, and I heard, rain pouring down on the house, and I'm like, dang it. It's like whenever I want to get outside to get some footage, man, it always has to start raining. But if it looks a little fuzzy here, it's just because, I'm indoors and there's like glass right in front of me, and the glass is kind of smudged up from the kids touching the windows and everything. But the overall color reproduction, color accuracy, colors don't really seem to be over or under saturated at all. Me personally, I don't mind a little over saturation. I like my colors to pop. But for all you folks out there that are more so into, natural tones and stuff like that, I mean, this camera is not going to do you a disservice. So like I said, I mean, you've got literally all the things. I mean, even though this is the standard variant of the S21, this is very much a flagship through and through. And I think a lot of people seem to have a misconception. They say things like, oh, well, the basic S21 or like the mid-range S21. And they speak as though this is like a mid-range variant. It's like, no, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same S21. It has the same internal specifications across the board, whether you have this one where you get the Plus or you get the Ultra. The Ultra is just going to offer a little bit more as far as, camera features and functions. It's going to offer a little bit more as far as battery, and you get some extra camera sensors on the back. But I mean, as far as the internal specifications, I mean, this is the same device. You know what I mean? I mean, so it's not like this is like a mid-range variant, or some people say, oh, it's a dumbed down variant or what have you. No, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a flagship through and through. From top to bottom, inside out, side to side, front to back, baby. You know what I'm talking about? This is a flagship through and through. So, that said, ladies and gentlemen, sound off down in the comments on what you think about the triple camera system for the Samsung Galaxy S21. Now, we've got a 10 megapixel selfie snapper on the front of this bad boy. I'm gonna get some video footage from that, close the video out, roll the still shot images, and you guys already know how I do, man. All right. So let me know what you think about the S21 triple camera system down below in the comments. All right, y'all, what's going on? It's your man Pristine. Okay, so this is the 10 megapixel selfie snapper on the Samsung Galaxy S21. And just like what we have on the rear camera setup, you know, we've got 4K recording at 30 or 60 frames per second here on the front camera. Now, we can't record at 8K on this camera, but were you really expecting that? You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is, man. Now, I believe here we have electronic image stabilization as opposed to optical image stabilization. We have optically... the sensors on the rear are optically image stabilized. And so I believe that we have gyro electronic image stabilization rather than optical image stabilization here on the front. But things should still be nice and stable if you're moving about while you're recording, you know, with the front facing camera here, as I'm going to display here as I walk through the house. Now, like I said, this is crazy, man. You know, for the last 5-6 days, it's been beautiful here in Seattle, Washington. And I was like, man, yo, okay, you know, I've been busy. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna wait till the weekend when I got more time so I can get this video footage, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, put this video together. And then as soon as I come out here, it's pouring down raining, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's pouring down raining. I'm like, come on, Seattle. You know, but that's just what it does here. You know, this is my home. I was born and raised here. So it ain't really no surprise to me. All right. So look, I'm gonna just go ahead and, you know, stroll through the house so we can, you know, check out that that stabilization, see what it's looking like. And then you guys already know. Pardon the noise, you know, I live by an airport, so planes is just constantly flying overhead, you know what I mean? But yeah. All right. So as you can see, moving about, you know, hey, you want to say hi?
Hi.
That's my baby right there. That's Sanaya. That's my youngest. She's 4. Okay. So now I'm in the front, and you know, hopefully, you know, just me moving through the house like that, you know, was a clear demonstration of, you know, how the stabilization works with the selfie camera. You know, now I'm in front of the house, you know, pristine mobile behind me. You know, you can see all the rain and the gloom and, you know, the gray skies and all that behind me. But I mean, overall, the overall picture quality, you know, things don't seem to be under or oversaturated or under or overexposed. So, and that's a good thing. And so, like I said, I mean, I think that, you know, the average consumer is going to be more than pleased with this camera. And yeah, no, I've got, if you guys are wondering, like, is he standing out in the rain? No, I'm covered here, you know, my little my little front door, my little porch area. But this phone does have an IP rating. It is IP68 water and dust resistant. So on a day like today, if you wanted to go outside essentially and take photos or get video footage or what have you, you can do that and you wouldn't have to worry about your phone being damaged. Okay, so, you know, if you're living in Washington, an IP rating is it's welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's not a determining factor for me, but it's welcome, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the selfie sensor, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, 10 megapixels. We do got 4K recording at 30 or 60 frames per second. 1080p. I believe it's just 30. I think it's also 30 or 60 frames. I could be wrong about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, let me know down in the comments how things are looking to you. Things look crystal clear to me in the viewfinder. No surprise to me. You know, Samsung is always at the top of the heap. Like I said, I know you hear a lot about the Pixel devices and, you know, iPhones and stuff like that. But I mean, don't sleep on Samsung, man. You know what I'm saying? They got some really good camera tech in their devices. All right. You know, really excited about this OnePlus 9, you know, to see what this Hasselblad relationship is going to look like. You know, they on Twitter, you know, I'm getting messages, you know what I'm saying, see me like every day. OnePlus is releasing something different, you know, something about the camera, and, you know, they got this new relationship with Hasselblad. So it'd be nice to get my hands on that device and compare it to this, compared to the iPhone 12, compared to the Pixel, you know what I mean? Stay tuned, because I'm going to have that footage. All right, so thanks for letting me bend your ear, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, you already know, man. You know, please stay safe, get spiritually fit, and keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. And I'm gonna go ahead and close the video here. I'm gonna roll the still shot imagery. I hope you enjoy the music of choice. You know, I always like to, you know, sprinkle a little heaven for your ears. You know what I'm saying? While you're looking at those images. And man, catch you on the next one. All right, peace. Don't make a mess, silly.
I was about to say that's what my uncle said. That's what my cousins.
What are you doing, Daddy?
Huh?
What are you doing?
10 months apart. They're born in the same year. Yeah.
Birthday, April 1st, 2021. How old are you, Nana?
5,
5. Okay. How old are you, Amina?
6,
You're 6? Okay. London, how old you turn today?
7.
7.
Wait. 5, 6, 7.
That's right. 5, 6, and 7.
I think it's like from the number block. I think it's like the number block.
Okay.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. 5, 6, 7.
What's up?